When she talks to her, it sounds just like Darth Vader.
Since I'm on it now, I can totally feel the difference in my way of life, because before then I was taking naps all day long.
Yeah.
Being a new mom and having POMPE, some days are more challenging than others, because some days I wake up and I'm, kind of tired, and some days I feel wonderful. But I must say I have a wonderful daughter. If I feel like laying in the bed, all I have to do is get her some toys, and she's in the bed too. So it's been challenging sometimes when, she was really small, but now since she's more mobile, she can just kind of sense when I'm not feeling too well. When that time comes, explain to my daughter Maya exactly what's going on with the mommy and why she has to go to the doctor so often. I'm going to explain to her as far as like age appropriate, so she will understand. So as time go on, she'll be able to help mommy if she needs some help, or just the little bitty things. But kids pretty much adapt pretty well, so I know she'll be okay. Yeah.
We have a little girl, Maya, and she wakes up talking about Maya. She calls when I'm at work, hey, guess what Maya's doing, and things like that. She wants to be here, for her, watch her grow up.
The difference between what you see on the outside and what you see on the inside. On the outside, I look like the average person, the average 31-year-old. But on the inside, sometimes I feel like I'm about 70.
Hold on. No, grab that.
Boy, don't you let her. You gotta hold her, man. Used to hurt my feelings when people say, well, you don't look sick, what's wrong with you? Why you can't do this or why you can't do that? Because I'm like, just because you don't see it, that don't mean that person is not affected by whatever they're going through. So you just have to take one day at a time and just do what you can.
I see, people, when they first, they were like afraid to approach her. But after the seating, she pretty much got them straight, and she told them, she said, hey, I'm the same human being just like you. I might be a little slow, but I still have a mind, and I can still think on my own.
Sure, yeah. I wonder what that little building over there for.
I don't know.
I don't want people to discriminate against me because I have a medical condition. I don't want them to feel like that they have to treat me differently, or that I need special things. Just treat me like the average person that you talk with every day. I believe to take charge of your own health care, be your own advocate for yourself. Number 2, get a very good support system. And number 3, get a good doctor to stand behind you.
When Asita has a tough day, I kind of like cheering her up. And I try to make her laugh and stuff like that. She's a strong fighter. When she tells me, well, Kevin, I can't cook tonight, do you mind cooking? I don't mind cooking at all. It might not be good, but I'll go ahead and cook.
Anybody that's been just diagnosed with POMPE, the most important thing is not to give up. Just keep a positive attitude, because if you think negative, then you won't feel as well. But if you think positive, good things happen, good things will happen.
My diagnosis of Pompe disease was a very long and arduous process. The first real symptoms I had was I started falling asleep. And I'd be driving my car, I'd nod off. I'd be playing basketball with the kids in the driveway, nod off. At work, kind of drifting in and out, and my wife and I were like, what's going on? And we went and saw a neurologist, and they thought it was narcolepsy. And then we went through a long series of tests, several doctors, probably a 3 to 4 year process from the very first symptoms to diagnosis. And it's interesting, it seems like some of the patients have problems with their leg and arm strength, some more respiratory. That's my biggest problem.
When Brian was first diagnosed with Pompe's disease, it was a lot harder emotionally. It was a lot harder to deal with it. We really didn't know what was wrong with him. And that was a much more difficult time. There was a lot more highs and lows during that time.
You going to cut that down?
I think we need to chop it.
Yeah. Got to reattach that.
The people that that moved our process forward was my wife Sarah and I. We were meeting with this neurologist. The first biopsy showed nothing. And we were kind of just out there, not really doing much, seeing him on a monthly basis. And finally we said, doctor, this isn't working. I'm getting worse. He said, you know, you're right. They did the second biopsy where they really knew what they were looking for at that point.
I think now it's become a lot easier because Brian does have a lot of support within the patient community, and he's more stable now. So I think we're able to sort of be a little calmer and a little more deliberate about how we handle it than we were when he was first diagnosed.
When you get the final diagnosis, it's really a swirl, a mix of emotions. There's a small party that says, relief. I've gotten through that. I know what I have. Now you can go on and you can deal with living with it, fighting it, that kind of thing. And of course, the flip side is you've got a very debilitating rare disease, and it's difficult. When I grew up, I was athletic. I played sports. The symptoms probably started when I was about 37. In my 30s, I played basketball twice a week. You know, I was, not that good, but still running up and down the court. So, yeah, you would not have been able to point to me and say, that person has a disease.
Oh, yeah.
But you kind of live a life, a normal life, and then all of a sudden that gets snatched away.
My hope for Brian with Pompe's disease is that physically he's able to continue to interact with the boys and be an active participant in the family. We tend to be very physical, active people. But most of all, I hope that he's able to come to a peaceful place with it inside his own head and come to terms with it in a way that he's able to incorporate it into his life but not have it define his life.
My kids will go out with my wife on a bike ride, on a Saturday. It's very hard for me to ride a bike, so it's you miss those experiences, and you want to be out there and partake in stuff. So the way I deal with that emotionally is by trying to stay on an even keel, not get too worked up about things, and then realizing there are ways that you can still do what you wanted to do. Maybe not the same exact way, but you can still participate in the basketball game, for example. Maybe not a full court game, but you can still play horse, you can still play 21, things like that. So you can still get that same result that you were looking for, but you gotta come at it from a different way. Be a little bit more creative and realize that you still have things you can give. It just may not be what you thought they were going to be 10 years ago.
It's a mystery puzzle. There's a story, and then there's supposed to be clues in the puzzle.
I think he does a very good job of making sure that he spends a lot of time with the kids, even when he's not feeling well, even when he's very tired or just feeling less energy. He makes a big effort to spend a lot of time with the kids.
Part of the way I've dealt with the disease, with the boys, has been really not to play it up. It wasn't until about a year ago where we sat down and said, here's what's happening. I think it's a lot for them to deal with. I'm sure they really understand what's going on, and I'm sure there's a bit of a fear in their mind, what's happening to their dad. And my older son we've had conversations about it, and he's been a little inquisitive. So, all in all, I think since we've talked, it's been a positive relationship.
I think the most important thing when you're relating with your kids, when there's an issue such as Pompe's disease in the family, is not having any secrets about it, being able to communicate openly and honestly about the effects of the disease, how you're feeling. I think the sense of there's something hidden and I don't know what it is and it's very scary is a lot worse for the kids than actually communicating about the disease itself. What really helped was that Brian was able to find support from other patients fairly quickly and find other information from patients fairly quickly.